Hi everyone. Today we're going to discuss about the 2021 November business paper, IGCSE Business Edexcel. So this piece of paper also you can see the paper, the year is not mentioned because it's sometimes a COVID time paper. That's why so recent papers, the paper, the year and the month is not there, but this is 2021 November paper, the latest paper available right now. So 1.5 hour, you can see the paper instructions. You can see 4BS101. So this time they don't have a regional paper, it's a common paper that given a special paper in last time because they are June, May, June paper and this is November paper. Okay, let's go to the instruction and the case and everything. It's a small business paper, the small business is something employees less than 50 employees. If there we call it small business, particularly the case study will be a sole trader, partnership, or a joint venture or something like a small business. Right, so it's a paper out of 80 and general advisors information is there. And you got the formula sheet like all the exams. You can see gross profit margin, operating profit margin, markup, ROCE, current ratio, asset test ratio, everything is there. Okay, let's go to the case study. When you're reading a case study, always I recommend my student to use some kind of a pencil or highlighter to underline the important stuff. Then only you can use that point in your application. Right. Artify Studio was set up in 2015 by Tay Hui Jae in the busy Kampong Glam area of the Singapore. The Artify Studio's aim is to have the communal art space where people can come together and paint, where people would be given as much creative freedom as they would have if they were in their own spaces. So you can see here it's a studio, Artify Studio. People come and they can paint and like a communal art studio. So it's in Singapore, based on Singapore, started in 2015 by the Tay Hui Jae, so like that. So you can underline those, the name of the person, the name of the business and the established year and everything, right? Second para, Artify Studio provides many services including its popular Liberty Art Jam, where the customers can paint as well as listen to music. So it's a brand name, you can underline that. Liberty Art Jam is they can customize this game, paint as well as listen to music. The studio offers a corporate art jam and regular kids classes. Customers can purchase art materials after attending the studio. Okay, so they have given chances to purchase art materials after attending the studio. Artify Studio is a profit-making organization with a social element. So it employs 7 part-time people, all of whom are art enthusiasts. So you underline 7 part-time, not a full-time. Part-time means people who work less than 30 hours. That's the definition of part-time workers, right? So it's kind of a social element also there, which is like a social enterprise kind of there, but profit center organization, but mainly they have some social element also they mention. Okay, let's go to the MCQ questions. You can see question number 1, we have 6 MCQs coming usually. Part A1, which one of the following functional areas is responsible for the recruitment of new employees? Which one of the following functional area is responsible for the recruitment of employees? It's easy question. You can see usually the recruitment, the right hiring, firing, promotion, everything who responsible for the workers are responsible by which department? You can see D, human resource department. A person's department reason we call person manager, not the finance, not the marketing, not the production. It's human resource related. So the answer is D, HR. Second question, which one of the following is an internal source of finance? Internal source of finance means money generated from internal sources. There are only 3 internal sources you can see revised. So answer here you can see A, overdraft, B, selling assets, C, venture capital, D, crowdfunding. Right? If you go through the answer, you can easily find out the answer is B, selling asset. Right? There are only 3 internal sources of finance. You can see retained profit, right? Owner's capital and selling assets. So answer is selling assets, B. All other A, C, and D comes under external source of finance, which is money generated from outside the business organization. All right, this third MCQ. Which one of the following is a main feature of the statement of comprehensive income? Under financial management, we learn the financial statements, income statement, and balance sheet, all terms that we call statement of comprehensive income and statement of financial position. So what is the main feature of the comprehensive income? See, A, current assets, B, non-current liability, C, cost of sale, D, capital employed. You can see statement of company's income or income statement comply with all the income and expenses. So answer is C here, cost of sales. Cost of sales answer. All other answers are belongs to SOFP, statement of financial position, where assets and liabilities are classified. Part 4. Which one of the following is a political factor that can affect a business? Political factor that can affect a business. A, taxation. B, global warming. C, habitat destruction. And D, part-time workers. Right? You can see the political factor is usually, you can see government-related one is what? Taxation. Taxation. Why? If you take the global warming, habitat destruction, part-time workers, all comes under external factors. But regarding the political environment, you can see government taxes we are giving a main impact coming from taxation. Yes, global warming comes from the environment or ecological environment. Habitat destructions also belongs to ecological or natural environment. Part-time workers, you can see the social environment. Like that, there are other environmental, like pestal analysis, political, economical, social, technological, right? Ecological, legal, global. Like that. There are certain external factors or macro environmental factors are there. So under that analysis, A is the correct answer. Right. Next question, you can see is a small calculation is there. So if you have a calculator, you can take it. There, this kind of a currency conversions also there in your paper. Running a Liberty Art Jam cost Artify Studio Singapore 10 Singapore dollars, right? So people attending the course are charged $35, right? Running the art jam cost Artify Studio 10 Singapore dollars, and then the people attending the course are charged $35. What markup has Artify Studio applied to this service? So we have to assume that this cost per person, right? And then you can see the markup ratio. You don't need to worry because it's there in the formula sheet. Formula sheet is mentioned cost per item, profit per item over cost per item into 100, right? So what is the profit per item? You can see 35 is the selling price, cost is the 10. So selling, okay, the profit is how much? 35 minus 10, 25. So 25 is the profit per item, cost per item is 10. So answer should be 25 divided by 10 into 100. So 25 over 10 into 100 is 250. Answer is C. We can see clearly, we can see here answer C is the correct answer. How we got it? 25 over 10 into 100. 25 is the difference between 35 and the $10. Right. So fifth MCQ is done, and go to sixth or last MCQ of the first paper. Okay, another calculation. Artify Studio imports sets of acrylic paint from Malaysia at a cost of 8.5 Malaysian ringgit per set. So cost of this one acrylic is 8.5 Malaysian ringgit. The exchange rate is 1 Malaysian ringgit equals 0.33 Singapore dollars. So 1 Malaysian ringgit equal 0.33 Singapore dollars. The question asking which one of the following would Artify Studio pay in Singapore dollars if they imported 15 sets of pens? 15 sets of pen, how much in Singapore dollars? First of all, you have to multiply. You have to take the Malaysian ranges. How to do this question? You have to multiply 8.5 into 15 sets. So one set is 8.5. 50 cents should be 8.5 into 15, which is 127.5. So 127.5. That is 8.5 multiplied by 15. Then what you have to do? Right. So 1 Malaysian ringgit equals 0.33. So what we have to do? We have to multiply this value by, to convert to Singapore dollars, 127.5 multiplied by 0.33. So then answer coming 42.075. The closest answer is D, 42.08, right? In the calculator, so I got the answer 42.075, which is 42.08. How I got this answer? 8.5 times 15, you get the 15 sets of acrylic paints, and that you have to multiply again by 0.333 cents. Then we can get the answer Singapore dollars, 42.08 Singapore dollars. Right. Okay. So that's the end of the MCQs. One MCQ carries 1 mark, 6 MCQs, 6 marks. We're going to the question on number 1 part B, define the term diseconomies of scale, right? We talk about this question in the production management topics, production management, economies of scale, diseconomies of scale. So we talk about economies of scale means which you decrease your average cost when the firm expand their sizes, right? And the diseconomies of scale, you can see the opposite of that thing, and increase average cost when firms expanding. So I'll show you the answer here. An increase in average cost per units. You can see an increase in average cost per unit is called diseconomies of scale. Diseconomies of scale is knowledge-based question, no need to put application or example. Okay, another defined question is define the term job production. Usually do production management, 3 production techniques: job production, batch production, and the flow production. This question they're asking, define the term job production. You can see the job production is producing 1 minute at a time. Therefore, the answer is here: a method of production that involves completing 1 unit of output at a time. Method of production that involves completing 1 unit of output at a time. Okay. That's the question number 1C. Okay, we are going to 1D now. State question. You get state questions. It's a very tricky question because you need application here, even though 1 marker. Here, that means you have to write an example from the case study, right? So, state 1 financial method of motivation Artify Studio could use to motivate its employees. So, case study, if you remember, it's mentioned that they have 7 part-time workers, all art enthusiast people, artists. You can see there are 7 artists they are working, not full-time, part-time. They're asking 1 financial method of motivation. You can see time rate, piece rate, right? Bonus, performance related pay, right? So many financial method we learn, but what kind of financial method that we can link to this case study, right? So this business actually not only teaching art, this is not only just art class, they are selling also. They are selling acrylic paints also for the people who are coming. We can see the students here in this case, kind of an art academy. Therefore, we can give some kind of example. If they are arts teacher, example, if you're selling some items to your students, you can check some commission on the acrylic paints that you're selling, like that. You can link something, right? If you just write commissions, no marks. You have to write something from the case study, right? Like, let's look at the application with the answer. You can see award 1 mark for the financial method of motivation. So Artify Studio should use to motivate its employee in the context of the business. So employee could be given commission for any art materials they sell. Right? This is not the only answer. You say accept any other appropriate response. Someone can say giving like time rate for the artist, for the giving time rate for the artists who are spending time giving getting their payments based on the number of hours they work in the studio, or giving commission for them based on number of acrylic paints they sold, right, to the customers, like that, for the students, like that. So like that, you have to write something from the case study. Otherwise, it's very difficult to take the mark. Even 1 mark, that's why very important. Even though 1 mark or 2 mark, very important. Or don't give up this question. So everybody, very, very careful, right? So when you're writing state question, don't forget to write example from the case study, right? And question number 1, part E, a calculation, 2 marker. Artify Studio offer 12% discount to parents if they book the duo parent and child art camp and the children's illustration workshop at the same time. Because sometimes parents have to, they also art loving people. They send their kids for the art class, but sometimes parents also wish to, like they also have some kind of like a program, right? Along with the students, they can have a duo parent and child camp, something like that. Both parent and child both can attend to that. And the illustration workshop at the same time. The combined price for both courses before being discounted is 285. Calculate the discounted cost of a booking, both courses at the same time. Right, it's a practical question. You can see the combined price for both courses before being discounted. Right, so they are giving 12% discount if parents are also attending. So then, what to do is a small calculation. You take 285 into 12%. Find that and deduct that amount, right? The net amount, you can see the calculation here. Take the 12%, 285 multiplied by 12% of 0.12, which is 34.2. This is a discount, right? If parent coming, you can earn this much of 12% discount, and then you can see it should be 285 minus 34.2. 285 minus 34.2, which is 250.8. So that means if parent also comes with the child to do a program, that means 250.8 they have to pay, right? So this is the, you have to show the working always, my advice, right? Even though you did in a calculator, show your workings, let's have something positive for you, because in case you answer wrong, if your workings correct, you can still earn a 1 mark. Okay, so one of the like a kind of a one of my favorite question is explain question. Why? Because student can earn a lot of marks out of this question, because the no application, you can write a general point, but there's a style of writing explain question also. Stick to one point and then develop that point. If you write multiple points, they will deduct marks and give one maximum 1 mark. So explain one measure a business can use to judge its success. So in this case, actually, no need to actually apply to the case study. You can write a general point to measure success. They can use their customer feedback, revenue, right, market share, awards and rewards, and so many. So take 1 point and then develop it, right? Customer feedback. So if the customer feedback is high, which means the business can, that means the customers are satisfied, which means they can get more revenue, which is maximize their profit. Like that. So we'll see the marking scheme answer for this question. Explain measure of success. Yes, judging success is an important lesson. Look at the model answer. Here they're using market share. So look at the point. Market share can be used to measure the success of a business. Changes in market share will show how well or not the business is doing. Look at the development and help them to make decision for the business. So look at the explanation. Market share can be used to measure the success of a business. Changes in market share will show how well or not the business is doing and help them to make decisions for the business. Like that, the changes in market share, you can get some indication whether they're doing good or not. So therefore, they can help them to make a decision for the business organization. So you can see 3 points, 3 marks, 3 sentences. You can get the 3 out of 3. Okay, now we are moving to the 6-marker question. The question of one last question, which is 6-marker. Analyze the effect of a decrease in interest rates of Artify Studio. Yeah, writing this kind of a question, decreasing interest rate, the economic question, you can see interest rate increase, interest rate decrease. Analyze the effect. Effect can be positive or effect can be negative. Right? It's an open question. So you can write 1 positive and 1 negative. So Artify Studio, I have to understand the concept here. This is Studio. So sometimes they are bringing items, they are importing items from Malaysia, acrylic painting, right? And they might have some bank loans. So decrease the interest rate means they can cheaply borrow money from the banks, right? As a result, they can expand the business further. So this is possible. So Artify Studio can do this. So, and also decreasing interest rate means they can purchase like a more good paintings, right? They can invest money on expansion of the studio into another town or something. So it's a small business. So decreasing interest rate, it's increase the money supply. So customers, the cost of borrowing will go down. Therefore, they can take more loans more cheaply and they can use it to their development. So Artify Studio here, in this case, they can develop their studio and they can buy good paintings. They can hire good, workers, employees here. So we'll see the answer here. Lower interest rate could lead to an increase in the demand for the popular Liberty Art Jam sessions. Yes. How this lead to increase the popularity of the art jam session? Because Artify Studio may need to put on additional sessions to cater for the increased demand, and this will lead to an increase in the cost. But as sales increase, this can cover the cost, right? So they can lead to increase the demand for the popular art jam session. Art jamming, arts and music both goes together. These kind of sessions, they can, right? Demand for this will increase because people would like to spend money now. When interest rates goes down, people will take the money and then they will spend money for their things. Second one, you can see when the cost of borrowing comes down. When the cost of borrowing comes down, so Artify Studio could pay less on loans they take out. Right? So they can pay less on the loans they pay out, and then this will enable Artify Studios to have more funds available to increase advertising and bring in more customers. This will enable Artify Studio to have more funds available to increase advertising and bringing in more customers as a result of that, because more funds are available for advertising, for expansion, whatever, right? So always talk about the application here, right? The art jam session, Artify Studio, and launch the takeout like that. So use always the context examples in the case study and the answers. Then you can get this 3 mark for the application and development. Okay. So that's the question number 1. In the 20 marks done. So we go to second question quickly. Second question consists again, you can see 3 marker and another 9 mark coming. Every paper you have 2 6 marker, 3 6 markers, and 2 9 markers, and 1 12 marker. Right. So this is question number 2. You can see 2 state questions coming. State one reason why Artify Studio would want to offer high quality service. Right? Their studio, if you prefer to give high quality service to their art enthusiast customers, there will be people, customer loyalty will increase. Like that. Okay, we see the market schema. So like we had to say something, customer loyalty will increase. Who are the customer? The student. You can see the answer 2-1. To encourage customers to come back and try other art sessions on offer. So what is the application? Try other art sessions on offer. So encourage customers to come back and try other art session on offer. Right. Question number 2, part B. State one advantage for Artify Studio of using part-time employees. Part-time employees, I told you, they are very flexible, right? They have to work like less than 30 hours per week, right? So they don't have to pay like a high salary, right? Part-time employees they have to pay like a minimum wage. Oh, they are very flexible. Anytime, if you have a customer, if you have like people, if you have event, we can call them to attend these services. Okay, one advantage of Artify Studio of using part-time employees, you can see the answer here. It allows for flexibility when the studio is quiet and courses are not full. It allows for flexibility when the studio is quiet and courses are not full. Yes, flexibility. In the busy times, you can call more people to come and help. And during off season or when there's a low demand for the time, then they can reduce the number of workers because they are not full timers. That's the advantage of part timers. Flexibility, right? Okay, now we can see again 3 markers coming. This time you can see back-to-back 3 markers coming. Three markers. Explain one benefit of a business of being a partnership. Easy questions, right? What are the benefits of partnership? We can see more capital can be raised. 2 heads are better than 1, right? And the responsibilities can be shared, right? And you can say the decision making will be good because it's taken by many people, right? And then losses can be shared. There are benefits of being in a partnership. In this case, the question also, no need to put application in explain question. So look at the way they explain one benefit here. A business gain investment from each partner. Or we can say more capital can be raised from each partner. Partnership, minimum 2, maximum 20. So increasing the capital available to the partnership, which can help the business to expand. As a result of that, what happens? You can increase the capital available to the partnership. Therefore, you can help the business to expand. Look at the 3 interrelated points. Business can gain investment from each partner. Therefore, it increase the capital availability of the partnership. Therefore, you can help the business to expand. You can use a method called BLT because leads to therefore. The reason this leads to therefore. Okay, I believe you can understand this method. So stick to one point and develop that point, right? Okay, we are going to question number 2. Another explain question, part D. Explain one way a social media can be used by a business. Right. So social media advantage, they ask for social media they can use to promote the business. Like you can say example, Facebook page. You can see Instagram page, right? You can see something like, so you can use some kind of a social media platform to communicate with the customer. You can, as a result, business can have a good relationship with the customers and they can respond quickly. So they can use for promotion, advertisement, new offers and everything. They can right? Giveaways and everything they can actually publish on social media. There are so many benefits are there, right? Okay, so this is the very good question, social media questions in business, because this is new business knowledge, right? Social media. Look at the answer here. You can creating a target advertising campaign, 1 mark, where the business can send specific advert to a targeted group, right? Who may be interested in the product or service. Who may be interested in the product or service. We call creating. You can create target advertising campaign. If it's teenagers, you can create teenage advertisement, and then you can target the teenagers. Business can spend specific adverts to target group who may be interested in the product or service, right? Like that. Can do that. Look at the part E. Another explain question. Explain one benefit of business of introduction of TQM. Total quality management can become for a 12 marker, can become for a 6 marker. This is the explain question, 3 marker. Benefit of TQM, TQM, total quality management. So you can increase the quality, overall quality can increase. Everyone, commitment is important. Therefore, overall the quality become a culture in the best organization. There will be 0 defects in the business organization. Like that, there are many more. Total quality management has a tremendous advantages. So look at the answer here. One benefit of TQM. One benefit is improve the product quality. This is because everyone is working as a team, right? And so fewer mistakes are likely to be made. Fewer mistakes are likely to be, because it's 3 explanation, 1 point and develop the 3. Benefit the increase the quality. Quality increase because everyone working towards achieving a quality. Therefore, fewer mistakes are likely to be made. Like that. So you can see 3 marker questions we can discuss there. So let's go to 9 marker question. The last one of the question number 2, 9 markers. Right, 9 markers always carry option questions. I always giving, you can see my other videos on using YouTube. I have given a 9 marker structure. So Artify Studio has decided to use a public relation PR to improve the image. It's considering 2 options. Now, option number 1, sponsoring local art show in the Kampong Glam area. Option 2, having a stand at a national art exhibition in Singapore's capital. Justify which one of these 2 options Artify Studio should use. So you can see public relations can be done in 4 methods. We discussed that under promotion in the marketing mix. What are the 4 methods of public relation? Right? Sponsorship, donation, press release, press conference. Sponsorship, donation, press release, press conference. You can see option number 1 is about sponsoring some local art show in their city. Sponsoring something. So sponsorship have benefits. This kind of question came first time. It's a new question for the 9 marker. You can see someone keyed on the 9 mark. You can see from PR. There are so many primary research, secondary research questions in the past. Right? There are so many pricing questions, cost plus pricing, price scheming pricing. Right? There are so many marketing related questions like above the line promotion, below the line promotion. And this is the first time this kind of a PR related came, right? So this is a PR, public relations is important. So option 1, sponsoring something, sponsoring some local art. The second point, having a stand at a national art exhibition in Singapore's capital. What that's? Stand at a national art exhibition. That is called something you're going to do some kind of press related thing, publicity event, like national art exhibition. You're going to exhibit some points in your standing at the national art exhibition at Singapore capital. So that kind of press release and press conference event. So you also take part in that. So you can the publicity automatically because you also participate that bigger event in the country. So both have the same meaning, but this is nothing like, when you're writing a 9 mark question, stick to one. That's my advice. There are different teachers teaching different styles, but I'm not saying bad about those things. But my style, I'm always encouraged to pick 1 point. If you pick option number 1, you can strike off option 2. So no need to talk about option 2. You can just talk about the 2 positives and 2 negatives of the selected option. Some students are there, they are writing 1 positive in a 6 strand, 6 sentence para, and another negative point with another 6 sentence para with a small conclusion. But 9 marker, we don't need a definition, right? We don't need a conclusion. We just need 2 positive and 2 negatives because it's 9 mark clearly giving you the application, analysis, and evaluations only AO2, AO3, AO4 points only, right? So let's go to the marking scheme and see what are the points they have given for the option number 1 and option number 2. Option number 1 is about sponsoring event. You can see here, breakdown of the marks: application 3 marks, analysis 3 marks, evaluation 3 marks, right? If you think what is this AO2, AO3, AO4 means, you can go through my other YouTube videos. You can find I have explained these assessment objectives. So option 1, application, you can see green sponsorship. We talk about all option 1s here because they are given answer for both options, because in case student can write different point. So this is not the always this is not the only points. Student can write, you can write different points. It's all right, but in the proper application. You can see if you sponsor something, you can see this would increase the awareness of the Artify Studio to those in the Kampong Glam area, right? So look at the development, and this could use as an opportunity to advertise the different services, right, they offer to local artists. However, disadvantage, we can see the sponsoring event can be costly for the business, because it's small business, no, right? Sponsoring some event can be costly for the business at a lot of, depending on the size of the art show, and this could be a cost that the business cannot afford. Yeah, sponsoring something we always expensive. Sometimes we don't know whether they can afford it or not, right? So with option 2, press conference, something like a take part in the national like art exhibition. Option 2, this can allow the business to become known to a wide market of artists. You can get some PR, like, you can make some contact with other wider market of artists in the thing. It's like a capital, like a major event in the country. Therefore, this approach artists from all over the country to find out what the needs of those artists are and consider what they can do to meet those needs. Right? This country, they have this kind of exhibitions, like, industrial exhibitions, bridal shows, motor shows, like that. So different entrepreneur shows, like that. Different people in the show, they are coming and they are demonstrating. Look at the however point. However, it would mean taking time out of the business, and it may not bring a new customer or improve its image if the exhibition was poorly attended. However, what happened? What's the negative point? What's the limitation of the press conference? It will be taking time out the business, and it may not bring new customers or improve its image of if the exhibition, if clause is there, if the exhibition was poorly attended. Yeah, if there's a rainy day, people will not come. Right? If there is some protest or something going on, people will not come. Right? If there's a government put some kind of a curfew or something, people will not come. Like that. Option 2 is like, you can see always writing, so balancing this point. You can see sometimes you can see going there, so standing at some kind of exhibition sometimes can be costly for them to Artify Studio, because they had to sometimes buy a stall, or you had to go and you had to introduce some kind of a museum piece or some artwork, and then it will be sometimes costly, transport costly. You can say something related to the case study. So always in 9 marker, my advice, I have seen so many 9 markers in my life. So a lot of students, they are missing marks because of the lack of application points. So develop more points, put more application, put more weighted to answer, right? Read the question carefully, read the case study carefully, and you can get a good mark. Okay, so now let's go to last 2 questions. Question number 3, we can start. Question number 3, right? 2 questions done, half of the paper is finished. So, right, so you can go to that thesis. You can see it's end of question, 20 marker. Question number 3, another defined question. Define the term price skimming. Define the term price skimming. Price skimming is a situation where you can charge a high price at the beginning, and you can gradually will be reduced when the demand goes down. Like price skimming, we are using for the product like high-tech products, technological product like Samsung, Apple. They're using price skimming strategy. Just because one reason will be sometimes to cover the research and development costs, like that. So define the term price skimming is the definition of the price skimming. Setting a high price for a new product and then lowering it later. Setting a high price for a new product and lowering it later. Okay, high-low method. So what is the opposite of price skimming? Penetration, right? low-high method. Okay. Question number 3, part B. Outline one reason why cash might be important to Artify Studio. Yes, cash is very important. You can see to pay. Sometimes they are part-time worker, part-time artists. You can see application should be there. Huh? And 2 sentences, to market 2 sentences. To buy acrylic paint from Malaysia, they need cash. To pay the organizing costs, something like overhead costs such as electricity for the Artify Studio and paint works and all other additional. Give some material and everything, like a detail of the case study when you're writing. 1 mark for the application, 1 mark for the development. Again, the answer, it allow Artify Studio to pay suppliers, right, for the art material. If you just say suppliers, no mark. Well, suppliers for the art materials they sell, and by paying them, paying on time help to build a positive relationship between the business and supplier. So look at the two sentences. It allows them to pay. Money is important. Pay their art material suppliers, right? And by paying on time to help to build a positive relationship between the business and the supplier, right? That is important point, right? It's outline questions, right? Okay, like another calculation question you can see here. And it's an extract from the Artify Studio statement of profit and loss. Revenue 90,500, cost of goods sold, direct labor, total cost of sales, and gross profit is given. They're asking calculate to 2 decimal places. The gross profit margin for Artify Studio, you are advised to show your working. So gross profit margin, right? No need to memorize. There in the paper at the beginning I show you. The gross profit margin formula is gross profit over revenue into 100. So that is 28,500 divided by revenue 90,500 into 100. So don't deduct it from the cost of goods, or should deduct it from revenue or sales. GP over revenue into 100. So answer would be, you can see 28,500 divided by 90,500 into 100, which is 31.49. Right? Your answer always 2 decimal points, right? In the given, so it's percentage sign is there. You can write in the given space 31.49. 31.49%. Right. So it's there in the space that is given here. So we can write down here 31.49. Percentage sign is given, right? All right. So let's go to the 6 marker. Question number 3, part D. Analyze question. So I told you there are 3 6-mark questions coming. This is the second 6-mark question on the paper. Analyze how Artify Studio could use the information from in the figure 1 to assess the performance of the business. Right. Based on this figure 1, it's figure 1, how they can assess the performance. To assess the performance of a business, they can, in this case, they have already calculated 31.49 gross profit margin. So that is important, but you have to assess the performance. You need another one more year or another company, similar nature, another business. But you can see by looking at this, you can find out whether there's a revenue increase or decrease, direct labor increase or decrease, cost of sale, what happened, gross profit margin, what happened, like that. We can analyze questions. You can assess question, normally analyze questions. You have to write the 2 points, 2 basic points with application and the analysis. With the 2 application point, you can see the answer here, how they can use this figure. You can write the numbers. You can write some percentage increase, decrease. You can see the application analysis point. Artify Studio can see how it is performing and can calculate the gross profit margin of 31.49%. Right? So they are given your answer. You can mention as an application point also. They can see how it is performing and they can calculate the GP margin. And this calculation helps them to see the sales they are making are currently sufficiently covering the cost of running their services and selling their products. Right? You can find out whether this business is 31.49%, right? Are making currently sufficient amount, sufficiently covering their cost of running the services and selling their products. Look at the way they develop that thing. Right? Look at second point. Artify Studio can use this information. Should be Artify Studio could use this information, right, to assess the direction that the Art Studio will take in the future. Yes, of course. Right? What kind of a direction are they going to expand the business? Or are they going to shut down the business? So if I'm the owner, 31.49 is a good amount actually. I feel it's good because but you have to go through net profit margin, operating profit margins as well. then we can find out if it is greater than the bank interest rate. Yes, why not? We should, the business give more return than the bank interest, fixed deposit rates. I think I should be in the business, right? So like the Artify Studio can use this information to assess the direction and the art studio will take place in the future. And this helps the Artify Studio to judge how much profit they are making against the cost of running their business, and if there are any changes need to be made to make the business more profitable. So this helps Artify Studio to judge how much profit they are making, because they can find out the direction they are going. So developing story or declining story, right? And then they can find out their objective they're making against the cost of running their business. And if any changes they need to be made, to make the business more profitable, like that. Okay, so let's go to the 9 marker. Question number 3. Part E. What is this 9 marker? Artify Studio is looking to increase the amount of paint material it sells. Because they're selling paint material, they're looking to increase its sales and their revenue. They can increase both. From that way, they want to increase their price. And it wants to sell painting sets for children, and will need additional finance for startup cost of buying these painting sets, right? So they wanted to increase their paint materials amount of, right, not the price. They're looking to increase the amount of paint material it sells, right? Not the price increases, the amount, quantity they want to increase. So they're targeting children. So therefore, in order to buy more paint material, they need to have additional financing part for start up this project. Right? So you can consider 2 options: crowdfunding, retain profit. Right? This is a marvelous question. There are so many finance management questions out there, financial management. So it's just crowdfunding was before tested once. So this case study, you can see crowdfunding, retain profit, right? Bank loan, different time. And there was a question from bank loan versus retain profit. This is crowdfunding. Online platform. You can see the GoFundMe, Kickstarter. India, they call Lendbox in India, Panda in China. Like that, there are so many other crowdfunding, Kickstarter, GoFundMe. There are certain platforms out there you can go and fund their things. So if you can make the crowd aware about this thing, and you can make some small gig like a video clip, you can create some kind of awareness thing, and then you can ask money from them to pledge some amounts to purchase these items. The people who love that project will fund. Like can be $1, $2, $3, $5, $100, like that. So this can use this thing. So no need to repay this. They can repay from their paint work, acrylics or something. So that's the advantage of crowdfunding. However, crowdfunding has a limitation. It's very highly competitive, and so very less chance of getting money because there are a lot of projects are there listed. Retain profit is an internal source of money, internal source of finance. Crowdfunding is external source of finance. Retain profit is the internal source of finance. So retain profit is the advantage is the no interest, right? It's a very flexible method, no documentation, everything. However, there are these drawbacks of using retain profit. Sometimes the Artify Studio stakeholder would not like to use the retain profit because the retain profit sometimes not enough, or sometimes the Artify Studio doesn't have that much of retain profit for the project. Like that. So you can say something, the advantages and disadvantage must be in line with the context. So I like to show you the 9 marking scheme. Look at the first option, crowdfunding option. Option 1, crowdfunding could be a quick way to raise the finance needed for new art sets, right? Be a quick way to raise the finance needed for new art sets. It's a quick method. Option number 1 or 3, investors do not need to be given any financial reward in return for their money, right? Investors do not need to be given any financial reward in return for their money. I told you, not to give them financially, but instead of that, they can offer access to their art services to Artify Studio. Yeah, they can give, okay, we'll give you free tickets, right? Investors $20, we'll give you 1 free ticket. The event they normally they are priced for $35 Singapore dollars. So they can say, okay, not for 35, we'll give you for $25. Invest 25, you can get a $10 discount also. Like that, you can give free tickets for them for the service, right? You can sell, you can give something in trade. In return, you can give some kind of a free visit for the exhibition, like that, right? And however, point of crowdfunding, Artify Studio is only a small business, so may not have enough presence to gain the funding needed. And if don't meet the target they set, right, then they may end up with nothing. Right? So things are the disadvantage there. It's a small business and it's a not have enough presence there. And also as a result of that, sometimes people will not, they get the target market they want, and so sometimes they don't get nothing, right? So look at the return profit option. So Tay Hui Jae could invest, the owner of the business could invest his own retained profit, his own money. This application is the person's name, which has been earned from the previous years to purchase the new art sets. So in this case, this may provide the business with the short-term finances it need to get the painting sets together, right? However, return profit, you can see there is no guarantee these painting sets will sell, as customers may prefer for their children to take part in the art session in the studio, making the venture unsuccessful. Yeah, sometimes there is no guarantee that the painting going to be sell because they wanted to prefer to their children to take part in the art session. Right, look at the way they're asking. So this is the end of a 9 marker. So pick one option. As I told you, in that option, you can talk about the 2 positives and 2 negatives in your answer. Pretty simple structure, right? So because we communicate with the I personally communicate with the with the Edexcel, and I in these structures and everything, they agree with this structure. Okay, like pick one option, go with 2 positive, 2 negative, right? So I'm going to go to the last question of the paper. 4 mark question number 4 is another 20 markers. Only 3 questions this time. 1 2 marker, 1 6 marker, and 1 12 marker. Right. So starting from the 1 2 marker question, right? Calculation is there. Artify Studio is planning to open a second art studio. Okay, they're going to expand. They're going to open up their second art studio in a small mining town of the Sungai Lembing in Malaysia. Right? It will recruit highly skilled employees to provide a high standard of service. It will recruit highly skilled employees to provide a high standard of service. In order to advertise the opening of the second art studio, Artify Studio will need to look a promotional cost. Promotional cost is there. It costs 459.5 Malaysian ringgit for 1,000 color leaflet to be printed. The cost of delivery is 17.87 Malaysian ringgit per hour. Calculate the cost to Artify Studio of delivering 1,000 printed leaflet, which will take 3 hours. You are advised to show your working. Okay. Look at this case study. Take the question carefully. Don't confuse. In order to advertise this promotion, promotion campaign, they're asking what is the promotional cost, right? So leaflet, you can see if the it costs 459.5 Malaysian ringgit for 1,000 colorful leaflets. Right? 455 for 1,000. That's how they now normal they are giving. The cost of delivery is 17.87 per hour. The cost of delivery per hour, right? Then look at the job here. So calculate the cost of delivering 1,000 printed leaflet. Then therefore 459.5, that is there. Plus take 3 hour delivery. Then you have to multiply 17.87 by 3 hours. Right? 1 hour the delivery cost is 17.87. Therefore 3 hours it should be multiplied by 3. So easy question, right? Fixed cost element and the variable cost element is there. Look at how they do the calculation. Yes, here we go. First of all, the delivery cost 3 hours, 17.87 multiplied by 3, 53.61 Malaysian dollar, and then add the fixed element for 1,000 copies, 459.5 plus this delivery charges. So altogether, promotion cost would be 513.11. They are doing a leaflet campaign. That's right, leaflet 1,000 leaflets plus delivery cost. Delivery 3 hour delivery. So therefore, adding the delivery cost with the 1,000 leaflets altogether, 513.11 is the currency. You mention this one in the 511 thing in the given space in Malaysian ringgit. Okay, that's a 2 marker. Now go to question number 4, part B, the 6 marker question. There's a third 6 mark question. Every paper we have 3 6 markers are there. This is the third 6 mark question on the paper number 1. Analyze the benefits of Artify Studio of an on-the-job training for new employees. Right? On the job training question. On the job training question, sometimes can this is an analyzed question. Before it came a 9 mark on the job training versus off job training. There are 3 types of training happening in the business organization, induction training, on the job training, and off the job training. If you provide on the job training for the new employees, which is their part-timers, right? Like there are 7 already, they have 7 part-timers who willingly give their support for this company, this business organization, Artify Studio. So what are the benefits? Can you write drawbacks? No, don't. Write the 2 positives. On the job training, you are getting the training on real working condition, real art studio, from the real painting with the real customers. So therefore, your training would be employee training would be very successful because working under real pressure. And other one is easy to organize. Artify Studio is a small one; they can afford to send them in a highly trained art school. So therefore, they are giving them a real experience with a cheap method to organize. So also, right, you see what are the advantages they mentioned, benefits they mentioned in the case market scheme. Question number 4B. Artify Studio can use the existing employees at its Kampong Glam studio to train the new employees. So application here, the city name, as I told you, highlight, underline all these things. Names are important. Give the details. If you just say, right, they can use existing employees to train the new workers, it's wrong. So I have to say existing employees in Artify Studio, in the Kampong Glam studio to train the new employees. Therefore, the new employees can see the work carried out in the art studio and they would be expected them when the second studio opens up. Yeah. The second method you can see, this gives Tay Hui Jae the chance to see if the new employees are skilled enough to work in the art studio. Yes, of course. The owner can see this person is capable or not. Is he a skilled artist or not? It's like a kind of like a testing period. Therefore, this gives Tay Hui Jae the chance to see if the new employee requires further training and which could be offer the job. Okay, right. Let's go to last question, the 12 marker, right? Most awaited 12 marker of the paper, right? The one and only 12 marker in the paper, right? And then we have the large business paper also there. After this video, you can watch that video as well. I know you are preparing hard for this time examinations, so you can just improve your knowledge by looking at this video. Evaluate the factors that Artify Studio would have considered when deciding where to locate its second art studio. You should use the information provided as well as your own knowledge of the business. Right. So what is this question based on? Location, second art studio. What is a good location? What are the points that you can write? Define what is a location. You put 2 positives of location, I think, proximate to customers, proximate to the market, proximate to the suppliers, like the acrylic paint supply, you can see here, proximate to the employees they are working, the proximity to the artists. What is proximity? Closeness. Should be able to reach, because the exhibition should be happening like in the city centers, might be very important, right? Quiet and calm and very peaceful location, right? City center, right? In the middle of a city, it will be very good because then customers can easily access. They can go with the parents and children, then they can easily go to this exhibition, then artworks. Like, be more practical, give more details. However, it can be expensive. Singapore city will be very expensive. They can say that as well, right? And not only the location, the quality of artwork, the quality of teaching is more important. We give some kind of however point, the evaluation point, right? So that's how we have to write the 12 markers, right? A definition, 2 positive, 2 negative, and the conclusion. Okay, look at the marking scheme here. A1, definition side, right? The availability of skilled labor or the availability of material. What are 2 points there, right? So if you don't know the definition, you can just write the 2 points that you're going to write, right? You can say 12 marker. The most important location factors I'm thinking for the Artify Studio, the second location would be the availability of skilled labor or proximity to the worker. And moreover, the second point I'm looking at is the availability of material available, like proximity to materials. Application. Artify Studio will need to find employees with art-based skills to work at the studio. Therefore, finding labor that is already skilled will help Artify Studio to progress and expand the range of art-based courses it offers. However, if no skilled labor is available, then the impact on the second art studio may be negative, right? It may not be able to run courses without the skilled employees. That's of course yes, right? Not be able to run the business with the skilled employees. Tell the positive point and tell the negative point, however point, evaluate, validate it. Moreover, the availability of materials, like availability of materials is important. Artify Studio will need to add need art supplies for its art courses. The art supplies will allow all of the current courses to be offered at the new art studio. So there is consistency between the studio. Because if you get same acrylic paint from all the places, they have same standard, same consistency between studio. Otherwise, whatever, different colors, different brands, different quality. However, as they are relocating to a small mining town, they mentioned very good application point as well. They're saying they are located to a small mining town. So, do you think it's a rich place? Mining work might be primary workers, primary sector employees. On town, they may find difficult to source the art materials in such a remote area and therefore may not be able to offer full range of services. Keep in mind that also somehow they might not, by relocating in a small mining town, they might not be able to afford it, they might not be able to reach those supplies into that kind of a remote area. No? Transport cost will be very high. So you can see the printing also 3 hours to print 3 hours to transport the leaflets. You can mention like that. So yeah, you can see, you can 12 marker always is up to you. Normally expand based on 2 positives, 2 negatives, and the definitions, these points, and also give some kind of a conclusion at the end, valid conclusion. However, location is only just a one factor which is the success of a business is depending on, right? Location is important, but other than the location, the management of the business, the team effort, the skills of the teachers are important to be successful. And you can mention something like a nice alternative viewpoint and conclusion point to get the highest marks. So that's the end of this paper. So far we talk about the 2021 November paper, which is the latest Edexcel IGCSE business paper available right now. So I hope you enjoy and you get something most important points for your examination. Right. So we are going to do this large business paper in my next video. So keep watch, please subscribe my channel, share it, and you can comment. I am helping you. So it's very important for your examination. I hope you enjoy my video series. So many people are commenting. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for encouragement. Good luck for the examination. Thank you all. See you in my next video.